And I'd like to welcome you all to Module 5 today. We'll be covering the Control Center and iPad keyboard. I usually like to do this module in parts, so 2 weeks from now, make sure you see part 2 of this module. But today we'll be covering the Control Center and iPad keyboard. All right. So I'm going to read our disclaimer before we get started. The WildTech DC Senior iPad program, its owners and presenters offer technical assistance, virtual health, well-being information designed for educational purposes only. You should not rely on the information, any applications or topics made by WildTech, including but not limited to mobile device applications and any social media pages maintained by WildTech, its owners or presenters as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or legal advice. Thank you so much for letting me read the disclaimer. If you cannot see me, hear me, or see the screen, please let me know in the chat and I would appreciate that. Let's make sure our TVs and cell phones are silenced to give others and yourselves the most immersive experience. Again, please keep others in mind, okay? And last but not least, let's make sure that we have our notes next to us so we can record some information down and review it for later, okay? Thank you. If you need any general assistance with your iPad, you can give us a call at our help desk number that you see on the screen, or you can email us at the email that you see on the screen, helpdesk@wildtech.org. If you call us, make sure you call within those hours that you see. But other than that, if you call, make sure that you leave a voicemail if we do not answer, okay? But please make sure you give our help desk a call if you need to. If you're not showing us your first and last name and participants, you will not be acknowledged today, etc. We got to keep this in mind. So I want everyone in Zoom to please hit participants. And looking through, I see pretty much everyone has their name in Zoom. Thank you. So whatever you have in there, it looks good to me, except we have one iPad user. So again, I'm going to send that iPad user a chat. Again, we got to keep the safety of our participants in mind. And also, if you want to be acknowledged, if you have a question, you must have your name in Zoom. So make sure that you rename yourself. You can do so by hitting whatever it says me. So if it said iPad me, Zoom user me, whatever me, right? Make sure that you tap whatever it says there, iPad me, then hit rename, and then deletes whatever there, and then type in your last name. Thank you. I see you did change your name, but make sure next time just to delete the iPad, because again, iPad's not your name, right? So make sure that it just says your first and last name, okay? But other than that, now everybody has their name in Zoom. So I really appreciate that. Again, thank you so much for coming into our session. Again, please make sure you rename yourself so it shows your first and last name. You hit participants, iPad me, whatever it says me, then tap on rename, okay? So we just had an iPad user join. I sent you a message. Make sure to rename yourself, okay? If you have a question, a comment, or concern, anything you'd like to share, you must raise your hand in Zoom. If you physically raise your hand like this, no one will be able to see that. So you must virtually raise your hand in Zoom. You can do so by hitting more at the top right of Zoom, again, these 3 dots, and then you can tap on raise hand. So I want everyone in Zoom to please raise their hand. If your toolbar is at the bottom of the screen, you can simply hit reactions at the bottom and then tap on raise hand. So I want everyone in Zoom to please raise their hands. Again, whether your toolbar is at the top where you hit more and then tap on raise hand, or at the bottom, you can hit reactions and then tap on raise hand. So either way, that is how you raise your hand. So we have about 12 hands. Thank you. I see some newcomers, some returnees raising their hands. I appreciate that. I see some other newcomers on the call as well. Again, I want you to practice raising your hand in Zoom. You tap more at the top right of Zoom, and then you tap raise hand. Or again, you can, if your toolbar is at the bottom, you can hit reactions and then tap on raise hand. So, wow, I think we reached 20 hands. I think that's the first time we've ever done that together. So kudos to you all. Thank you so much for that massive amount of hands. I love it. And don't forget, once you're called on, don't forget to hit lower at the bottom. So I want everyone to hit lower. And then I want everyone to, again, if you were to actually ask the question, hit mute at the top so you can mute yourself. Once you're called on and you ask your question and we answer it, don't forget to hit lower at the bottom. And then don't forget to mute yourself so that way everyone is able to hear. So we still have 8 hands up. And at the bottom, don't forget to hit lower to lower your hand, okay? You don't want to keep your hand up forever, right? You wouldn't keep your hand up forever. So don't forget to hit lower at the bottom to lower your hand, okay? Thank you. And if you want to communicate with others non-verbally, the chat is a great way to share a greeting, ask a question, congratulate, and encourage others. So it's a great way to share anything like a greeting, a hello, put your question, a comment in the chat, anything of that nature. If your toolbar is at the top, you're going to hit more. So those three dots, you're going to hit more, and then you're going to tap on raise hand. Okay, sorry about that. Hit chat. You're going to hit chat. Hit the three dots, hit chat. Then you will see the meeting chat window come up. You hit tap here to chat, and then you type your message in, and then you send it using the blue button on the right-hand side. Again, if you want to send a chat, you hit more, then you tap on chat, and then you hit tap here to chat, type in your message, and send it with that blue button. If your toolbar is at the bottom, I simply just hit chat. And then here on tap here to chat, same idea. I write a message, so I'm going to write hello. And then I am going to add an emoji. Today's Rainbow Bridge Remembrance Day. So let me look for a rainbow just because. Let me look for some rainbows. And now let me look for some pets. So pets, there you go. Dogs, cats, rabbits, different animals. There you go. So yes, again, today is Rainbow Bridge Remembrance Day. So I added some pets for that as well. So if you all could share yourself, again, any chats, any messages, any greetings, any hellos, anything you like to share. Again, I recommend when you all come on Zoom is when you share a message in the chat, okay? So again, good afternoon, thank you, greetings. Physically, yes, Mr. Harold, but yeah, well, that's why we're doing this today, to make sure we give our remembrance as well. So yeah, thank you. Again, if everyone in Zoom could please share a message in the chat, would love to see that. Again, it could be anything like hi or hello, how you doing? Hope you have a great Wednesday. Anything you like to share, okay? So thank you, yep. Yep, doing well, thanks so much. I hope everyone's doing well as well, thank you. Have a great day, greetings. Yep, good afternoon, thank you. If you want to share a photo in the chat, you can hit the plus sign next to tap here to chat. And if you have any photos in your Photos app, you can add it to the Zoom chat. So these two were from some of you all on Monday. Hit share or the send button, and there you go. You can send a photo in the Zoom chat as well. So these two were from our Monday advanced training, which I really liked, yeah? So thank you. Please continue to utilize the chat throughout the session to share any messages, any chats, any questions, anything you like to share. But thank you all for your newcomers and returnees and everyone else for sharing a message in the chat. You can, yeah, thank you so much. So again, today we're going to go over mainly the control center and as much of the iPad keyboard as we can today. So please keep that in mind. Cool, love that picture, Yvonne, thank you. So first up, we're gonna learn about the control center. This gives you access to useful controls and apps on your iPad, which includes many different features like airplane mode, Wi-Fi, data, Bluetooth, the orientation lock, the volume, the brightness, and much, much more. So we'll be keeping it pretty basic today. We're reviewing how to open the control center, what each button does, and how to customize the control center with different features. Keep in mind, the latest iPad upgrade to the operating system will occur in like one to 2 months. So things may change, but it's good to have this base knowledge. So when, maybe the overlay changes, how things look changes, it won't be too different for you because you'll be, you recognize each of the different icons. So to access your control center, you must swipe down from the top right corner of your screen, okay? So whether your iPad is vertical or if it's, you'll learn how to change the lock. If it's vertical, right? Or if it's horizontal. If it's vertical, if it's horizontal, you all can literally see me move my iPad as well. And when either way, top right corner, you swipe down from the top right corner. Either way, if your iPad is vertical, if it's horizontal, you swipe down from the top right corner of the screen. Again, I can do this in my slides. I can do this on my home screen. I can do this when I'm in Zoom, for example. You can open your control center anywhere. So again, you open it or access it from swiping down from the top right corner of the screen. And then if you want to get out of the control center, just tap anywhere else on the screen. Look at that, and the control center goes away. And you swipe down from the top right corner of the screen, and then you tap anywhere else to get back to whatever you were doing. If you know how to open the control center, access it, and close it, please raise your hand in Zoom. If you learned how to do that today, if you already knew how to do that, please raise your hand in Zoom. Again, you swipe down from the top right corner of the screen. Okay? And then if you want to tap anywhere else, that's how you get back to whatever screen that you are on, okay? Please raise your hand if you know how to access and close your control center. Love it. So again, mostly some of our returnees, so again, especially our newcomers today, we'd love for you to try out and participate. Love it. Thank you. We got about 15 hands for that. Thank you. And you swipe down from the top right corner of the screen, you tap anywhere else to get back to Zoom. If you have an iPhone, it works, same idea. If you have an iPhone, swipe down from the top right corner of the screen as well. So very, very easy to access your control center. So thank you. You all can hit lower at the bottom to lower your hand. Thank you so much for participating. I love it. Great numbers, you all. Again, don't forget to hit lower to lower your hand at the very bottom. So we're going to go over the different icons. When we access it, there's quite a few different icons you can take advantage of. Again, we're going to keep it pretty simple today, but there are always going to be a few more features that you can take advantage of that we're not able to get to in our particular sessions. But we're going to go over some of the basics, especially for our newcomers. So we're going to go over the first column and then the second column. So first up, yes, and it's called airplane mode, where you can turn, when it's on, when it's orange, when it's on, you can then turn off all wireless features on your iPad. Again, I rarely, if ever, use this feature because I want to have access to the internet, services, etc. So I usually typically don't utilize the feature. If I go to my control center, it's off because again, if it's on, then I can't connect to the internet, etc. I won't be able to speak to you all today. So just keep that in mind. I usually keep my airplane mode off, but if you're on an airplane, if the pilot asks you all to turn on airplane mode, that is what you do. Next up is Wi-Fi or cellular. So when your Wi-Fi option is on, it's blue. When the cellular option is on, it is green. So if I swipe down from the top right corner, again, my Wi-Fi and my cellular is on. If you have both, connected, if you have your Wi-Fi connected to your iPad, and of course you all still have the data while we still are able to utilize it, it will automatically connect to the strongest connection. So my Wi-Fi is stronger. That's why at the top, next to where it says AT&T, I have the Wi-Fi symbol because I'm connected to my Wi-Fi right now. So again, I typically have both of them on, use the Wi-Fi when I can, use the data if I'm outside of that Wi-Fi range. So I have different options on, okay? I just did something I'll talk about in just a second, but the last option is Bluetooth. When Bluetooth is on, it's blue, and it basically allows devices to connect to each other without wires and cables. So if I go to my control center, look at that. I have it's B, literally the letter B, turned on, it's blue. So that way I have my Bluetooth connected. So you can use Bluetooth in many different things. Right now I have wireless headphones. You all can see I have wireless headphones, no wires, right? I'm connected through Bluetooth. If I wanted to quickly connect to my AirPods, I would simply just hold the Bluetooth icon and there you go. It gives you more options. So if I hold the Bluetooth icon, look at that. I can connect to my AirPods. I see I'm connected to them. SKDY, that's one of my speakers that I've connected to before. So there's many different things that you can connect to Bluetooth with. Keyboards, wireless headphones, speakers, etc. If it's a Bluetooth enabled device, you just might be able to connect to it with your iPad. So for the speaker, I can play videos and music and connect it to my speaker that I have. my headphones. Again, there's no wires and cables. I can move around and I'm connected to my headphones through Bluetooth. So it's very advantageous. So that's that 4 options right here in this corner, this box that has the different main control center icons. Some other ones that you can take advantage of, again, these are not all of them, but most. One is orientation lock. So that lock icon, so right now it's black right now, so it's off. When it's on, you see that it's white and it's red, white and red. And that's how I know that it's on. So when it's off, I just turned it off. Look at that. I can move my screen around, right? I'm literally moving my iPad and it's moving the screen, right? But if I go to my control center and I turn the rotation lock on, no matter how much I move my iPad, etc., look at that. No matter how much I move it, it stays the same orientation, right? So keep that in mind. When the lock is off, you can adjust it. When it's on, it stays put. Okay. You have your screen brightness and volume. So these are the sliders that you can use. So look to the right. You have the mini sun, and you will most likely have the audio icon, but I have literally mini AirPods right here. So if I want my brightness bigger, I can slide it up, down. So lower brightness, lower power used, higher brightness, higher power used, but it's brighter. So keep that in mind. I want to keep it up all the way to the top all the time, right? Bright light for a long time is really, really not good for your eyes. So I typically have my brightness down around here because I can still see the screen, but it's just, again, way easier on my eyes. So, I really have to keep that in mind, right? Same idea for the volume, right? For my headphones, I'm not going to have it all the way up, right? For my headphones, it's not good for my ears. So I typically have my headphones, again, in the middle area or so, okay? But these are just sliders. You can drag your finger up and down to make it brighter, not as bright, louder, not as loud, okay? So those are the different sliders. And last but not least, there's this option called focus. I don't use it too much, honestly, because it's like do not disturb. It silences all FaceTimes, all alerts, all notifications. So make sure that, if you don't want it on, make sure it's not on. If I hit the little moon icon, I just turned on do not disturb, but I want to be notified about different calls and notifications. So I typically have this button off, okay? So those are some of the main icons. There's some other ones as well that we can talk about next time, but this is some of the main icons you can use in your control center: airplane mode, Wi-Fi cellular, Bluetooth, orientation lock, brightness and volume, and focus, okay? If you notice below all of those different options, you see you have these different icons here at the bottom. One looks like a clock, the next one looks like a battery, this one's the camera, etc. So these are different shortcuts. So I'll show you how to add those shortcuts onto your device. Okay, so you're gonna first go to settings. Okay, when you go to settings on your iPad, you're going to find where it says control center. Okay, on the left-hand side, you're going to find where it says control center. So it's right below general. Okay, control center. And when you hit that, look at that. All these options, these are the ones that are included. These are the ones that you can add. So look, we can even just start from scratch. You can hit the minus to remove them. So look, now I have 7. If I remove this one, now I have 6, right? I can move the order. So look, I can move screen recording to be in the beginning, or notes in the beginning, camera in the beginning. So look, if I go to my control center, now I have screen recording, notes, camera at the bottom as my first options, right? But again, you can, I'm just showing you just to not be dramatic, but showcase just how you can edit your control center. So you can remove all of the controls. Like literally I have nothing there, but I love all these different shortcuts. So literally all you have to do is hit add to the ones that you want to add. So I like the alarm, the camera, let's see, music recognition. That's a really cool one to take advantage of. Screen recording, opening quick notes, stopwatch, timer, voice memos. Those are the ones that I want to utilize. So if I go to my control center, look at that. These are all the ones that I added to my shortcuts. So like this 7th one, this is like my alarms or my timers. So there you go. It takes me to my timers. This fifth one was a quick note. So look at that. I just opened a quick note on my iPad. So again, there are various shortcuts. The first one, this is to my alarms, etc. So very, very convenient. So just by going to the control settings and then by hitting control center, you can adjust, like move them in the control center, or you can add them or remove them as you please. So I would try out some of these different features, okay? So here in the control center, we went over how to access it, close it. We went over some of the main buttons you can utilize and some of the shortcuts that you can adjust and edit here in settings. If you like this app, or if you like the control center, if you've utilized it, taken advantage of it, if you learned how to do the shortcuts today, if you learned about the different buttons and features that you can take advantage of, please raise your hand in Zoom. Again, if you've used the control center, if you like it, if you think it makes things easier, please raise your hand in Zoom. But again, it's so easy just to adjust different Wi-Fi, different Bluetooth settings, different cellular, anything with your audio, so that way you don't have to use the physical buttons on your iPad, right? You can just use the slider to adjust your volume and brightness if needed. Thank you. I see we have about 7 hands or so. 8 hands, thank you. Again, if you know how to open, access, control the control center, or if you learned a little bit more about that today, please raise your hand in Zoom. Thank you. Right now we have about 10 hands or so. Thank you. You all can hit lower to lower your hands. Thank you. I saw some other hands as well. Thank you so much for participating. Let's all make sure to lower our hands, okay? Okay. All right, again, don't forget to hit lower to lower your hand. Any questions about the control center before we move on to our last topic for today, before our reflection? Any questions about the control center, please raise your hand in Zoom. But I hope that was helpful for a lot, for a lot of you. It certainly is for me, just being able to access these different settings. First up is Miss Dina. You had a question about the control center?
Yes, Alex, I have a question about Bluetooth. When you be showing your Bluetooth, I see that you have your word microphone or your earplugs. So my question is, you don't have to use the serial number of different devices. You just put in a name.
So that's a great question, Ms. Dina. You don't put in it automatically comes up. So again, you can quickly access your Bluetooth settings from the control center. If you hold these different icons here at the top left, if you hold this box, and then you can quickly adjust it. But you can also, if you just take one more step, you can go to settings on your iPad, and then you can connect to different devices by hitting Bluetooth. And you see these are some of the different devices that I've connected to or I can connect to. And I didn't name them, they name themselves. So you just select the one that you want to utilize Bluetooth with when it comes up.
Well, Alex, how does it differentiate? You know what I'm trying to say.
You see the different names, right? So if the Bluetooth device is on and available around you, it will come up in settings here in Bluetooth. You won't be able to connect to a...
But all the devices you have under Bluetooth, everything won't pop on at one time.
Yes, ma'am. So you select the one that you want to use. Again, I've used, this is not my first time using my AirPods, so it already is on the device list. Again, if I go to settings and I just look at a little bit more information, it says my devices. So I've connected to, again, my speaker and my headphones before, and you see other devices. These are some of the newer ones that I haven't connected to yet that's around me. So again, you would just select that option that you want to connect to, and then you'll be able to go from there. So if you get some wireless headphones, you look for the name of those headphones here on the list, and then you can get connected to it.
Okay, I have one more question. Now, if someone comes in your house and they have their Bluetooth on and maybe forgot to turn it off, will all your devices come on from their Bluetooth?
So again, they'll be able to see that they can connect to them. It just depends on the different device. Again, if it's a speaker, then if no one's connected to the speaker, then you'll be able to see that speaker's name. So, it just doesn't automatically connect unless they've connected to it before, but it also just depends on the device. So you just have to see here in the settings or in the control center what's connected, what's not connected, and then you can see where you need to go from there, okay?
Okay, thank you.
No promise, Dina. Thanks so much for your question and have a great rest of your day.
You too, be cool.
Same here. Same here. Thank you so much. Okay. Don't forget to lower your hand and mute yourself. Thank you so much. And yeah, don't see any other questions for the control center, but I hope that was helpful. Again, thanks so much for joining, and hopefully you all are able to utilize that. So no, Yvonne, accessing Siri, that's a whole never different, that's a different feature, right? So again, you can access Siri by holding the home button, or what we learned last Wednesday is we learned how to activate Siri with our voice. So keep that in mind. Okay, I hope that helped out. But the answer to your question is no. Siri is not one of the features you can utilize in the control center. That's its own feature where you can activate with the home button or your voice with what we learned in Module 2 last week. So I hope that's helpful. Our last topic for today before our reflection is about the iPad keyboard. So again, all of us got our iPads at different times. It takes us different times to get used to typing on a virtual keyboard. So just keep that in mind. Give yourself some time to get used to it. There are many different ways to type on your iPad, including a dictation, which we'll talk about, an external keyboard or a Bluetooth keyboard, etc. And or you can utilize a stylus pen, Apple Pencil as well. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Besides that, again, we're going to learn how to enable dictation on your iPad. So you can use your voice to type something in, maybe instead of having to type it in. So just another option. So in order to enable dictation on your device, these are the steps that you're going to do, okay? So first up, you're going to go to settings on your device, all right? And on the left-hand side, you're going to hit general. So you're going to go to settings, and I'm putting this in the chat as well. And then you're going to find keyboard after hitting general. So settings, general, then keyboard, okay? When you hit keyboard, swipe up here and you'll see it says enable dictation. Make sure that option is on. And when it is, you're able to use your voice to type on your iPad. Of course, right now being on Zoom, you all cannot utilize the audio for the dictation because Zoom is utilizing that. So please keep that in mind, okay? But when you have it on, so like if I go to my notes, for example, look at that. On the keyboard at the bottom left, you see that mini microphone icon, right? It's blurred out because I cannot do that while I'm on Zoom, but that's the button you press to enable dictation on your device. So what I can do is, again, I cannot show you directly through the iPad, but I can go on my phone and I'm able to utilize this, the same feature, just it's in a different spot. So with the dictation, again, once I hit the mic icon, again, you'll do the same. Hello, this is Alex. How are you? Today is Wednesday, August 28th, 2024. I hope everything is well. And look at that. I wrote, hello, this is Alex. How are you today? How are you? Today is Wednesday, August 28th, 2024. I hope everything is well. So that's pretty good. I know I have to adjust a period here or there, but again, you can use your voice to type in a message versus just having to type it in, okay? So really quickly, if you learned how to enable dictation on your iPad, if you've used it before, if you want to try it out after our Zoom ends, please raise your hand in Zoom. Again, settings, general, keyboard, you swipe up and you make sure you enable dictation. So you can use that mic icon on the keyboard to use your voice instead of having to type in, and it just gives you another option. I don't use dictation that much myself. Everyone's going to be a little different, but it's good. Literally, if you do not feel like typing sometimes, that's another alternative that you can do. So again, I put those instructions in the chat as well. Settings, general keyboard, and then make sure enable dictation is turned on, okay? So I see we got about 3-4 hands. Again, I hope everyone can take advantage. It is such a time saver in many different aspects. So make sure you all take advantage, okay? Next up, so I recommend you, so you all can hit lower, thank you so much. I recommend that you all be in the Zoom chat for the next few slides, okay? So you can literally follow along. So first up, we're gonna learn how to enter an emoji using the keyboard. So you're gonna, most likely you all will have the smiley face icon here at the bottom left. That's how you access your different emojis, okay? So I recommend let's all be in Zoom. I'm gonna go into the chat. And here you go. It says tap here to chat. So when you have the keyboard up, again, I want everyone to follow along. At the bottom left, you see that smiley face icon, or because I have different languages, I have the globe icon. But either way, you'll get to the emojis and you can swipe through. There are thousands of emojis I think you can take advantage of, right? So if you want to add an emoji, all you have to do is when you find it, after you swipe, you just tap on it, okay? So different options, right? You can tap and yep, it comes up. So some of them you may have to do an additional tap, but look at that, different animals, different nature, there's food and drink emojis. Again, share your favorite emojis or just whatever emojis you want to share, please share that in the chat. Again, there are so many different kinds of emojis that you can share. I want everyone in Zoom to please share your different emojis just by accessing. Again, when you're in the Zoom, when you're typing at the bottom left, that's globe icon, that smiley face icon, that's how you get to your emojis. And you can add different emojis that you like, okay? So I want everyone in Zoom to please share some different emojis. Yeah, it could be anything, it could be one, it could be quite a few, etc. Thank you, Mr. Harold, I appreciate that. Again, some of you all are sending reactions, so just make sure that you all are sending emojis, I recommend, in the Zoom chat. So again, we can all see who knows how to send an emoji. So again, I hit this globe icon, that smiley face icon at the bottom left, and then I find the emoji that I want, and then I tap on it. So here are a bunch of flower ones. Again, we have someone under the name letter I, so please rename yourself. I see you sent a message, those laughing emojis. Please rename yourself. You're just showing as the letter I, so please keep that in mind. Okay, thank you. I love the hearts. I love the 4-leaf clovers and stuff that I added with the eggs. I love yours, Miss Wilda. Thank you so much. So again, please everyone share your favorite emojis or just in different emojis you would like in the Zoom chat. Okay. With emojis, we're going to talk about those a little bit really quickly. One of the latest features with this is that you can, if I go to an emoji, like a lot of person emojis or hand emojis, like human emojis, look, you can change the skin tone. So for this one, we're not all yellow, we're not all one color, right? I hold the emoji with my finger and then I drag it to the character that I want. Okay, so like this one, I can choose a darker skin character. For this one, I can choose a lighter one. For many different emojis, you can choose different skin tones. Again, we're all not just one person or one color, right? So just by holding the emoji and dragging your finger to the right skin tone, again, we're not all one color. So if you all could also try that out, again, most of the human emojis will work like that. Body, different people, different skin tones, right? So a lot of these, again, you can hold the emoji. Yep, thank you. Good job, Ms. Brenda. I see you did the regular one for the hands and then you were able to get the skin tone together. So that's nice. You can always change it too, right? So for this emoji right here, again, I don't have to be this skin tone forever. I can do this one or I can do this one, right? Or I can, again, go here. I can go back to yellow even if I want to. Again, that's very general, right? So again, you can also share or change the skin tone of different emojis if you would like. And last but not least with emojis real quick, if I go to my emoji keyboard at the bottom left, you should see a magnifying glass. That is how you can hit it and search for emojis. If you want a red emoji, I type in red. If I want a blue emoji, I type in blue. If I want, we're taking a trip to Poland today. So there's Poland's flag, right? You all should see that in our daily email too. If you put in beach, there's some beach emojis, right? If you put in even like, look, if I write in New York, look what comes up, right? Statue of Liberty, isn't that cool? So if you type in any inquiry here in the search, you can literally search for anything. If I type in water, right? Water. Look at that, different water emojis, right? So you can also search for emojis. You can also change the skin tone of different emojis. So thank you all so much for your participation. I hope that was helpful. And thanks so much for participating. Please continue to share some of your favorite emojis, different skin tones. Use a search emoji to find and maybe search for your new favorite emoji. Okay? Thank you all so much for that. I appreciate that about the emojis. Next up, we are going to talk about the keyboard really quick. So with the keyboard, when you're on it and looking at different letters, so let me go to sorry about that. Let me go to Zoom. Let me go to the chat. We're just working on the keyboard, right? You see these different letters, right? If I hold the letter, I can see any alternate characters. So like E, right? If I write, let's go with Beyonce, right? Her name is Beyonce. It's not just E, it's E with the accent, right? So I hold E and then I drag my finger again to the right. I don't let go to the right character. So I want an E with a forwards accent, right? Because again, this is different than this, right? Than this. It's so important to get people's names right. So you got to make sure that you know how to add an accent if you would like, okay? So again, you can hold the character again if you want a capital or a lowercase, it depends. So lowercase o, lowercase I has quite a few, lowercase u, M doesn't have any, N has quite a few, V has none, V has none, C has quite a few, X has none, Z has some as well. So again, different, accented letters, right? But it doesn't just have to be for the letters. If I go to the numbers, look at that, I can do this kind of percent, or this dash, or this equal sign, or this forward slash, right? Sometimes it may change. Like for the dollar sign, look, I can drag and do euro, I can do cents, I can do yen if I want to. If I go to some other characters, again, it's really interesting just to see some of the different options that you may have with putting accented letters when you need them. So I want everyone in Zoom just to practice sending out different accented letters by holding the key that you want. So lowercase z versus an uppercase Z doesn't have any. A does, uppercase A also has quite a few, S, uppercase has S, has one. So again, it's just good to be able to know that these alternate characters exist, or these accented letters. So please keep that in mind, okay? And try to share some of those in the chat here as well, okay? And I'd love to shout them out, okay? Besides that, for our keyboard tips for today, if you want to quickly end a sentence with a period and a space, you double tap the space bar, okay? So if I write a sentence normally, I'm putting that in air quotes. Look, I'm typing in the chat. I write hello. If normally I would have to hit the period and then hit the space, right? Instead, again, I write hello, Hello. I double tap my space bar. Look at that, it's period and a space, and it's a lot easier. I am good. Double tap the space bar, there you go. There's the period and the space. Hi. Double tap the space bar, period and space, okay? So you double tap the space bar if you want to add a period and a space to quickly write out different sentences, okay? If you want to undo or redo, I don't use this too much myself, but it's just good for you to know. You can swipe left with 3 fingers on the screen to undo, and swipe right with 3 fingers and redo. So look, let's see. Hello, let me write hello. Let me swipe left with 3 fingers. Yep, I just undid. Again, and then if I swipe right with 3 fingers, I redo. Okay, hello, how are you? I write that. I swipe left with 3 fingers, I undo. I swipe right with 3 fingers and redo. Okay, so isn't that cool that you can undo and redo your work? Okay, so that's another tip as well. Yeah, and our second to last tip, you can turn your keyboard into a trackpad. So basically, you see how I'm in the Zoom chat. You can do this anywhere that you're typing. You see the cursor, right? It has, that's where you're about to type. So if I tell the cursor to go here, like tap here, I can do that in front of the A, in front of the Y, or after the E. You can be real specific. If you have a little bit of a hard time with tapping directly where you want to type, you can hold the space bar, and look at that. I can move my cursor left to right in exactly that I wanted to do, okay? So again, hold the space bar, go right here in the middle, and then look, I can add some emojis just for dramatic effect. You hold the space bar, and you go throughout, and you can basically put your cursor in a very specific spot. So I would definitely try that out as well. And last but not least, with our keyboard, again, if you want to close the keyboard, if you want to get out of it for, if you want to see more of the screen, etc., you must close the keyboard by hitting the bottom right key, okay? That looks like a mini keyboard, so keep that in mind. That's how you close the keyboard, by hitting this little mini keyboard icon, okay? So for our tips, again, with the keyboard, we learned how to add an emoji. We learned how to add accented letters. And we also covered how to add a period and a space, how to undo and redo, how to turn your keyboard into a trackpad, and close the keyboard itself, okay? So that's it for Module 5. Again, we covered the Control Center, we covered the iPad keyboard. Again, we're gonna have Margaret do a quick reflection afterwards. We're gonna do our poll. Again, we need first and last name. I don't know who, again, I just sent you a message. You need your first and last name, okay? I don't know who that person is that just renamed themselves, first and last name. But any questions about anything we covered today before we do our poll and our reflection from Margaret? Any questions about anything we covered today? Again, thanks so much for coming on. I see we have quite a bit of returnees, etc. Please make sure, that you contact our help desk, myself, or our number if you need any assistance with your iPad. Thank you, Mr. Harold. I appreciate that. Yeah, and thank you so much again for renaming yourself. You must have your first and last name in Zoom. Thank you so much. I'm going to start our poll, and then that way we'll start with our reflection today. But again, thank you all so much for attending, and I hope you all learned something new today.